There's a new Politico poll out on the issue of the TPP, and it's the most depressing thing I've ever seen. So get this, 11% of people support the TPP, 18% oppose the TPP, 70% have never heard anything about it or read anything about it. Oh, good googly moogly. 70% of the country hasn't heard of this massive trade deal that is going to affect many Americans in a negative way. This is nothing but a complete and utter failure of the mainstream media. I mean, seriously, stop and think about how much time they've spent on various issues involving, I don't know, Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt, Kim Kardashian and Kanye West, whatever pop culture bullshit you can possibly think of. How much time have they spent on that versus time spent on the TPP? There's no comparison because they just don't even discuss the TPP. And then never mind if/when the very rare instances they do discuss the TPP, are they getting into the nitty-gritty and into the nuance and the details and the specifics where they're giving you the provisions and telling you the consequences and the fallout of the provisions? No, it just doesn't happen. It just doesn't fucking happen. So, look, I'm seemingly saying this every week now, but this is why new media is thriving. This is why SecularTalk is doing well. I mean, look at the fucking budget I have compared to the budget CNN has. There is literally no comparison. There's no comparison. But somehow I'm mustering enough views to beat CNN in the middle of the day when Wolf Robot Blitzer is on. How is that possible? And by the way, he's one of however many hundreds of channels, so you're limited to just those choices, and he still can't get that many eyeballs. I'm one YouTube channel with infinite other YouTube channels and infinite other things on the internet, and we're doing better. Why? Because we're actually talking about the things that affect fucking people's lives. Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt breaking up doesn't affect anybody, okay? Fairy tales aren't real. Power couples broke up. I can't believe it. Really? You thought that people who everybody on the planet want to fuck were going to stay together? They've both probably gotten 13 propositions to fuck in the past 5 hours. I'm surprised that they weren't able to keep it together when they walk 7 feet and somebody says, "You want to fuck?" No, it's the least surprising thing ever that they broke up. But that gets more coverage. Shit like that gets more coverage than the TPP. Under the TPP, did you know that there's an international tribunal that would be set up where that's where they determine legal issues? So, in other words, it used to be the case that governments are just above corporations. So, if corporations have a dispute or corporation and a person, whatever it may be, the government comes out with a ruling. A judicial branch, for example, would come out with a ruling, and then that's the end of the conversation. Under the TPP, no, they flip that. And they say individual nation states and corporations are equal. What? That's insane. So, a government and a corporation. So, if ExxonMobil, ExxonMobil would be equal in the eyes of the law to the United States government. So who makes the decisions when there's a dispute? An international tribunal headed by corporate leaders. I wonder if they're going to side with the corporation every time. So in other words, a corporation could say, I disagree with all these rules that say I can't dump chemicals in the river. I want to get rid of those. And then look at that. It goes to the international tribunal, and the international tribunal goes, we agree with the corporation for legal reasons X, Y, and Z. So now you can dump chemicals in the river. Under TPP, corporations can sue governments for lost future expected profits. So in other words, rob the taxpayers if we fail. That ain't even capitalism. That's corporatism. That's socialism for the rich. Socialism for the corporations. So, a businessman goes bankrupt. It is what it is. You got to move on and find something different. A giant multinational corporation makes terrible decisions and is about to go bankrupt. Nope, they could just sue the taxpayer for loss of future expected profits and get the money back under the TPP. Never mind the hundreds of thousands, if not millions of jobs that we're going to lose under the TPP and how we continue this race to the bottom for wages. I mean, under the TPP, we get to exploit slave labor in Malaysia. Brunei, who just implemented Sharia law, is in the deal. We're given a pat on the back and a thumbs up to a country that just decided, let's suppress everybody. Isn't that a good idea? I thought we cared about human rights. What happened? But again, is there any coverage of this, any serious coverage of this in the mainstream media? No, that's why 70% of the population is like, TPP who? That's a rap song, right? You down with TPP? Yeah, you know me. What is this? I don't know what TPP is. you can only have a democracy if you have an informed population. If you have a democracy and you don't have an informed population, well then, how can you have good decisions made? You can't have good decisions made, or what ends up happening is the people who are the elite in society, they want to keep people in the dark so that they can make whatever decisions they want to benefit themselves, even if it screws over the people. And that's what's happening in this case. You have a mainstream media which reflects the same worldview as the elites. Why? Because they're part of the elites. You know, billion-dollar corporations, they're buddy-buddy. They rub elbows with all the politicians who are, you know, partaking in this. They rub elbows with all the Wall Street bankers. They rub elbows with all the CEOs of the multinational corporations. They're from the same social circles. So it's harder for them to be critical of their own buddies. And that's where new media steps in, and hopefully we can shine a light on some of these horrific practices that are continuing to fuck over regular Americans as they're kept in the dark about it. Look, this isn't just a matter of, oh, Americans are so ignorant, you know, why don't they know about it? A lot of people are fucking working, they got to pick up their kids, they got to take them to karate class, they got to do this, they got to do that. You know, they got family gatherings, 1,000,001 things are going on in their lives. They don't have time to go through all the nuance of the TPP. That's what the news is supposed to be for. You turn it on and they tell you what's happening, but they're not doing their jobs properly. So we're going to do it for them.